Okay, guys, here we go. We are live. There's a reason why my display name is this one for this specific stream. There's a reason why my display. And sorry about that. I'm doing my trying something new right now. I'm making sure that I can stream with both my phone and my laptop, so that way I can wrench a few people who haven't been wrenched as of yet that I completely trust. And so here's what's going on. There's this there's this package that I finally got in the mail, and it's something that I've been waiting for so many years, and I finally get to open it. And I feel like it's best that I show it to you guys because there's a special story that that's connected to this package. So everything is all opened up. So I'm just gonna unravel it very gently. I'm gonna make sure that I don't expose the name because I don't want to dox the person who gave me the package. There we go. There we go, right there. Oh, it's laminated. Awesome. This makes it even better. Oh, hey, Ross. I heart you too. I heart you so much. All right, so here we go. Hey, Elizabeth, how you doing? Great to see you. Glad you can be here. All right, so here we go. All right, careful, very careful. There we go. Oh, man. Voila. Easy. Oh, it's not as easy as it looks, sadly. And here we are. Oops. There we have it. Look at that. Oh, that is beautiful. That is an original drawing from that umbrella guy and his daughter, Little Umbrella. I actually the way that I ended up with this package was it was all from a raffle that I won back 2 years ago when Tug was still doing the Indiegogo for the first case of the Littlest Umbrella, and I ended up winning one of these raffles. How did I win, you ask? Well, let's just say that I that I pretty much cheated. Actually, yeah, according to Gelt, I did cheat. I was pretty much spamming buttons, hoping that I can get the right one, just filling up the live stream chat, just blocking it like a virus. Oh, I was such a prick. But yeah, so I ended up winning one of these. And when I had won this one, I had also won someone else had given me a package for Tug's mask. During that time, me and Tug, sorry, not me and Tug, but I'd only seen Gelth as someone who who liked to troll and just do a lot of crazy things. He was like half troll, half kindness. And I felt like, there has to be, I feel like there was more to him than that. He wasn't just your ordinary troll. He was like someone that, an ordinary troll wouldn't be like, giving donations, cards and stuff for lug. So what had happened was I decided, since I already had two packages which were worth $500, that I can give one of those packages to him as a means of paying it forward. So I gave it to him, and he was shocked when I gave it to him because he did not expect something like this to ever happen. And he dropped his guard, and he was extremely grateful for me. And that was how my friendship with him started. That's when he viewed me as someone, as a brother, as someone that he knew he could trust. And that's something that cannot be taken for granted. And I say that for all of you in the chat. I take none of you for granted. I believe you are the greatest people I've ever met. And I hope that that we make many more memories together in our streams, even if we don't see each other in real life. If we were to see each other in real life, that would be paradise, to be honest. That would be heaven. That would be the greatest thing in the world. Just being around you guys, just enjoying life. And to think that, and it all started with this specific raffle, this drawing. Now that I have something like this, it just serves as a reminder of how long friendships go and how long we tend to how often we take them for granted. But I just can't do that because I have been alone for so long that for me to throw this away would make me a massive hypocrite. Gelth right now is in a bit of a tough situation out there, but I am, that's why I wanted to say this right now for him, that I love him, that the whole stream loves him, the whole Discord channel loves him, Tug loves him, everybody loves him, and that we will not give up on him, and that whatever challenges he's facing, that we back him up no matter what, thick or thin. And I just want to hug him and hold him tight. I know. Oh, you have no idea how much I want to do that for him as well, Rose. Even if he thinks I'm a screwed up pervert. It would be actual love, just holding him. I just keep thinking of like all these jokes. It's like, oh, Romy, you're such a Romy is such a girl, just wanting to hug me. Don't make me flash your nipples around you. I love his dry humor because it's something that I've identified with ever since I turned 19. Actually, the way that my cynical humor started out was when I rewatched Daria. And rewatching that as an adult, I gotta say, like this made me feel like I wasn't alone in terms of my critical thinking and how everyone else around me was like extremely like, either shallow or ignorant or normie or just hard to talk to. Glad you're here, DJH. I hope you're doing well. I know you've been going through a lot as well, but know that we're with you and that we're always and that we're going to fight with you no matter what. Your influence with your music, with your albums, has helped open my mind to something I never thought was available before. I mean, all those albums you have, like regarding the 50s and 60s Canada and the political incorrectness, that makes wow, kind of makes me feel ashamed for a bit since I haven't been exposed to any of that. And how I should be exposed since I am a Canadian. Hey, Tanya, how are you? You're just in time to witness this original drawing from that umbrella guy. This is worth $500, but to me, I think it's priceless because this right here show is how my friendship with Gail started. When I received the So as I was saying before, Tanya, so I received this when I received this in the mail today, and I originally won this 2 years ago. So it took about 2 years for everything to be taken care of. And you know, I had all the way it works was I won this off a raffle, and then I had already won. Was received another raffle from someone who wasn't interested, which was the tug mask. So I figured I should pay it forward as well, and I decided to give the tug mask to Gelth, and we had been friends ever since. Yep, whoa, indeed. Yeah. Tug really has a great way of bringing people together. Like I think that's like, it's not just his voice that's charming. It's his means of getting people together, which really makes me feel like I belong. You're too kind. You know, it's just something that I grew up with. I always had this feeling of like, wanting to help people. And but then when as I grew older, I figured like lots of people were taking advantage of me, so I decided to, withdraw from society. But then when the Kick Vic fiasco happened, and then the Johnny Depp fiasco, I started surrounding myself with a lot more kind-hearted people, a lot of sweet people, and it felt like I could express myself. And the fact that they could appreciate my kindness, my willing to help others, that makes me feel extremely grateful for you all. It makes me feel like I can live life. Let me just take a look here, see if there's any other photos here, because there should be. Nope, this is the only sketch. Well, yep. So we're gonna keep this here. You know what I really like about this? Look at the detail that they have here, especially with the eyes. It's like the perfect combination of like horror and cuteness. Like it's not too sappy and it's not too scary. It's like the right combination in between. And then you have the kite up there. And yeah, look at that. Look at that signature right there. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. And I actually, yes, it's nice to be nice, but you also have to be careful because sometimes people can take advantage of your good nature. That is exactly true. That's exactly why I hated medical school, because most of the people there did try to take advantage of me, and there was also a narcissist that I had to deal with for over 3 years, who ended up being um, emotionally manipulative, and to the point where he made me want to help others with medicine and mathematics when nobody else knew. And whenever I refused, he would just try and like, yell at me or slap me or punch me or just do all kinds of crazy things that made me feel uncomfortable, worthless. Hey Sandra, how you doing? You're just in time to see this beautiful original photo right here of Tug and Lug. As I was saying, yeah, I felt worthless. I felt like I didn't do anything for anyone, because most of the people who I ended up helping, I'd have punched him back. I'll take care of you. Oh, you're so sweet, Tanya. Well, funny enough, you should say that, because that same person who took advantage of me ended up going to university, medical residency, in a school sponsored by BLM. Yep, it's it's paradise for him, because now he could be as crazy as he was back in medical school. So more enabling opportunities for him. However, enough about the negative stuff. I want to focus on the positive stuff. I want to find it. I want to see how you guys are doing. You guys enjoying yourselves? I know some have already told me they're not feeling well, but you know, I want to also hear from whoever. He will get his comeuppance, probably jealous of you. You know what the weird thing is, Tanya? He was ironically, since he was the one who was the most abusive to me, he was also the one that was also the most helpful to me. You got to think of it like a relationship between him being Walter White and me being Jesse Pinkman. It's a very, it was a very unstable relationship we had. The weird thing was he actually helped me out right when I was at the point of failing my last semester of medical school, and he helped me, like, binge, like, 5 days worth of medical studies, and I ended up passing the exam and heading into my rotations. But then I stopped talking to him after I got into what was it called, my rotations, because, well, one, I had already switched schools, and two, I wanted to ask him a favor, but then he had the nerve to say that he was watching a soccer game with other people when I told him that I really needed his help, and he had the nerve to be offended at me, despite him taking advantage of me several times and just him being pissed off whenever I refused. I was like, "Oh my god." The double standards were just disgusting, and I just felt extremely powerless. So then I just had enough. He started yelling at me. I hung up on him. He tried calling back 5, 6 times, and that was the last time I ever heard from him. I love Tug and Lug. I love them too. Like, Lug is the closest thing for me wanting to have kids. Like, if I had a kid like Lug, I would not have any regrets. Do you sell your artwork? This actually isn't mine, Sandra. I won this off a raffle back 2 years ago. This is actually an original drawing. I wonder if he fancied you. Oh God. God. He did say great things about me, but it's just the way it's just the way that he acted sometimes. I wouldn't be surprised if he himself had schizophrenia, because you really had to be careful what you said around him. You pretty much had to be a mute. That was the only way you could get along with him. Just be a mute, follow what he says, and then you can survive. That was definitely one of my lowest points in life. Another point where I felt low was where Gelth actually helped me out again. This was around last July. Sometimes people have a defense mechanism when they fancy people. They do, but this guy did not. This guy, it clearly did not have a defense mechanism. You're describing most friend relation partnerships I'd had. Walk on eggshells all the time. Damn. It's tough, DJ. And it's probably one of the reasons why I never had many friends growing up, because I was very naive. I was a massive snowflake. Most of the people I tried to get along with were either too mentally unstable or, just too mentally manipulative of me. Very few of them truly appreciated me for who I was. If you feel like you have to walk on eggshells, get the fuck out of your ears ASAP. Tanya, I wish it was that simple, but I was on an island in medical school. There was nowhere for me to run. I had to deal with him when I was in class. I kept my phone like shut off, trying to ignore him as much as possible. It was not easy. What is a snowflake? A snowflake, in the Urban Dictionary, is essentially someone who is brittle, who is very easily offended, who can't take criticism, who can't handle something that they've never experienced before. They just react, or they hide, and not as a defense mechanism for trying to deal with the stress that's too much for them, and they often do it in a very violent way. So I think it's safe to say that he was definitely a snowflake, but that's in the past. Now we have the present here. we have this glorious poster of Tug and Lug to enjoy, something to cherish for us all, to make us remember what life is all about, being with the ones you care about, being there for each other no matter what, and just wanting to be happy. You had a biopsy today, Tanya. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that must have hurt. So sorry about that. Hope you're I hope the results come back negative because you know there's too much cancer going on in this world, especially with Norm Macdonald's death. So many people dying from cancer. I can't say it anymore. Thank you for the to us in the UK. Snowflake is someone who is offended by everything slightly different to woke people. Hmm. That kind of sounds like, yeah, that kind of sounds like the opposite of what it means in the US, which is weird. Thank you for the definition. I'll have to rewind and listen to the video. No worries, Sandra. I'm always happy to back up a bit. I agree. Too much fucking cancer. I hate it. Ugh. And you know what the worst thing is? Like, there is a way to prevent cancer. The thing is, most people aren't aware of it, or they just don't have the motivation to prevent them from happening because they often engage in very unhealthy habits. Yep, rest in peace, Norm. Comedian, genius. You know what? I did like Norm. He definitely had a great way of telling jokes. Although for me, Carlin will always be number one. But Norm definitely is up there as well. Let me look on Urban Dictionary, lol. Be right back. No worries, Tanya. We got plenty of time in the world. Plenty of time to be happy today anyways, because yeah, work has been like extremely stressful for me the past week. There are times where I just had like, angry outbursts. Haven't exploded on anyone, but I had so much implosive anger, which is definitely the worst kind of anger to have for yourself and for others when it happens. But I'm hoping to get some time off so that way I can what's the term? Just enjoy. Romer, please explain to me how to prevent cancer. That's excellent question. Yep. So Urban Dictionary says a very sensitive person, someone who is easily hurt or offended by the statements of actions or others. Yep, that's pretty much it. So yeah, in the UK, that kind of sounds like the opposite of a woke person, which is very weird. So how to prevent cancer? There are many ways to actually prevent cancer. One way is to make sure that you don't consume anything that's acidic in nature, because cancer does tend to form in an acidic environment. So I'm talking about stuff like milk. Yep, that's right. A lot of dairy products can actually be very bad for you. Try to make sure that your body is in an alkaline environment. So we're talking stuff like apple cider vinegar, um, stuff that and also apricot kernels, which can help destroy cancer cells because of the protein, because of the way they target a protein that's seen in the cancer cells. Lemons, yeah, be careful with lemons. Yeah, tomatoes, exactly. Tomato sauce, like that causes acid reflux. That can cause acid reflux. Definitely be careful with what kind of tomato sauce as well. If they put stuff like citric acid, which 97% of all tomato sauces have it. What's apricot kernels? It's actually spelled Kernels, like a kernel of corn. An apricot kernel, that's actually that's what actually what you find inside the pit of an apricot. So after you eat an apricot, there's a pit inside, and then you break open that pit, and then you have like a kernel which looks like an almond, and you can just like eat that. If you have like 1 to 3 of those, that could actually be very beneficial to destroy the potential cancer cells which are inside your body. And the way that works is there's a they it's called a vitamin B19. It's not an actual vitamin, but what it does is essentially it destroys the cancer in your body by targeting a protein which is found only in the cancer cell, and it's not found in normal cells. Of course, that's deemed controversial because there haven't been enough tests to do so, which there's a reason for when you consider how funding and research is done in today's world. But it's definitely recommended to have at least like 2 or 3 a day. Definitely don't overdose on it because the cyanide inside, even though it's small amounts, can be potentially fatal. So always stick to like 1 to 2 a day. The bitterness is what's going to help destroy the cancer cells. So you're going to feel a bitter taste, but it'll be worth it. Oh my God, Romer, my sister died from breast cancer, the worst kind. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sandra. That sucks. Yeah, for those who don't know, yeah, triple negative breast cancer is a death sentence because that's the kind of cancer which does not respond to any kind of therapy, no kind of estrogen, progesterone therapy, or any kind of radiation. It's very bad. I'm so sorry, Sandra. Olive oil is very good as an anti-cancer agent. Yep, because olive oil, it's very bitter. The key thing is to eat a lot of stuff which is bitter, like the apricot kernels, the apple cider vinegar. That it's all that the bitterness comes from the alkalinity itself, and that's what you need to keep ingesting to make sure that you don't your body doesn't become acidic, and that itself is causing the potential. Another thing, plenty of water. You need water. You got to make sure that your pH is neutral as well by drinking a lot of water, hydrating yourself, because with the lack of water, you're not able to hydrate. You feel like you have no oxygen. With less oxygen, increased lactic acid. Lactic acid causes muscle tension, potential for cancer. Yeah. My sister lived on pasta sauce. My family has been fucked up since her passing. Well, actually, we were already toxic. Sorry, Sandra. I mean, you're not toxic. Don't I hate it when people say that they're toxic when deep down they're really not. Yep. Drink 2 tablespoons of love oil a day. It's also very good for your skin. I had eczema on my foot and it completely disappeared when I started taking olive oil. You know what, Tanya? It's funny you say that because my mom, when we were in the Caribbean, she would always like get some olive oil and she would always rub it all over her body because it helps hydrate it and gets rid of any sort of rash or any excoriations that you might have, any kind of skin abnormalities by hydrating it and relieving the pores. Something else that I should add to it as well, and when you're in the ocean, is what's it called? Well, the ocean itself. Like the ocean has a lot of iodine in it, and it has a lot of properties in the salt water to help relieve skin conditions like psoriasis. And of course, mud baths are always good for the joints. I actually did a mud bath. Not so much a mud bath as it is like a mud amusement park, like with a pool where you could just like rub yourself in mud and it could actually help relieve your joints. I did that when I was in Serbia back when I was 24 years old, and I loved it. It felt so like neutralizing. It kind of looked like I was a Ninja Turtle. just just like putting it on me, feeling a lot of weight come off my shoulders. Yep, I take a tablespoon of lunch and a tablespoon at lunch. I mix mine with half a lemon and raw honey, and it doesn't actually taste bad. Oh, that's another thing, raw honey. Raw honey has a lot of anti-cancer properties, and it also has a lot of proteins in it, which can help you protect against arthritis and HIV. And the way it does that is there are specific proteins in it which destroy the neurotoxins which are found in which are found in your body. The way it works is sorry, I misphrased that. So the way it works is when you get stung by a bee, they actually inject a neurotoxin in you, and it turns out that that neurotoxin can actually is actually very protective against your joints and your nerves, like the nerve sheath, the nerve surrounding it. My sister would never drink water. She made me so upset. She thought she led a pristine life. Well, Sandra, all I can say is that I hope that she was happy. I hope she lived a happy life. I mean, everybody lives a different lifestyle. Some people are selfish. I mean, some people just like to do things their way, and there's not much you can do about it, no matter how hard you try. I think the key thing is making sure they were happy, so long as they weren't harming anyone else intentionally. Pink Himalayan salt bath is apparently best for psoriasis. It is, yeah. Himalayan salt, like that's the only salt I use to eat to make food. Like I only use Himalayan salt. Like I refuse to use table salt and iodized salt because iodized salt has problems for the thyroid, and table salt itself is also very carcinogenic. She did live a happy life. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad that she lived a happy life. Yep, hydration is key. Hydration is always key. Like you gotta be able to make sure that with enough water that you're able that because you know your body is what at least 90% water. So you gotta keep up with what. Sorry, I should say like at least 75%. You need the water to make sure that you're able to perform more. Make sure your cells are doing all the work, which leads me to another thing which is also good for your body, niacin. Niacin is also very healthy for your body because niacin, like the proper niacin, specifically flush niacin, can actually increase the blood flow, and it can and it can and it causes increased energy production, which is what you need, not just to function, to walk, but also to fight off any kind of infection and stuff. Unfortunately, this kind of stuff is only taught in basic level, even when you're in med school. This kind of stuff you only really figure out when you're a PhD or if you've done enough independent research of your own. But yeah, niacin, flush niacin, and melatonin, mix that together, and you're set. Like in terms of immunity, you can protect yourself against any kind of illness, or it can help you treat any kind of illness, whether it be a virus or a bacterial infection. Of course, don't forget to use some therapy that can be responsive as well. But this should always be used as a basis whenever you feel like you need to get some energy done. I just started taking maca root because I think I have a hormonal imbalance since having my kids, but it's supposed to give you a very active libido too. Hmm. Tanya, I knew there was a perverted side to you. I knew there was a perverted side. I always have this way of, exposing women's perversions and making them lust for me. I gotta stop doing that. My brother is living with with the cancer called hairy cell leukemia. What advice do you have for my brother? Well, what I would recommend is, I hope he's not on chemotherapy. Well, I'm hoping he can be on as little chemotherapy as possible because chemotherapy just literally destroys everything in your body. Yeah, it's supposed to be very bad for your body. See if he can try eating a lot of apricot kernels, at least have 2 to 3 a day. That should be enough. And then also, what's it called? apple cider vinegar, like, have like a switch, like, mix some apple cider vinegar with his water so that way it can become alkalytic. Yeah, make sure that he could start with a better lifestyle. I mean, let's all leukemia isn't that where you need a bone marrow transplant. It is for specific kinds of leukemias. That is true. Yes, there are most for some leukemias you do require a bone marrow transplant. When he was diagnosed, they gave him 5 chemo. Oh my god. Chemo is something that you should do as a last resort. It should not be done first. Like you got to start with stuff that's much less invasive. Like do more like lifestyle changes. Don't eat so much greasy food. Don't eat a lot of dairy products. Like eat stuff that's like, alkalytic in nature. Like the apricot kernels, the apple cider vinegar, olive oil. Like don't use margarine, don't use butter, don't use vegetable oil. Like avoid anything which is could be potentially bad for you. Aspartame, high fructose corn syrup, all these bad stuff. Shit, that makes me so upset to hear. I'm sorry, Sandra. I mean, I just hope that your brother still has the ability to, change this stuff before it's too late. There are ways. It just depends on how much of infiltration the cancer has gone through. I mean, if it's something like stage 4, then by that means definitely do chemotherapy. And the worst thing that I hate about chemotherapy is that chemotherapy, like they're trying to make money off of it. Like I think they're purposely trying to tell like doctors that, prescribe as much chemotherapy as possible so that way they can get paid like what, 900 to $1,000 a patient. I mean, the same as going for the shot virus. It's crazy. My boyfriend's friend just fought off 3 different types of cancer, stomach, liver, and bowel, one after the other. He gave up when he was told he wouldn't survive the last one, but he had been given the all clear. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that, Tanya. I'm so happy to hear that. We need more people we need more stories of like people getting rid of the cancer, not dying from it. Of course, the key thing is trying to figure out what caused the cancer in the first place. And usually, I mean, if we think back to the very original cause, besides like, family history of cancer, I think it all comes down to diet, especially like, just eating having a bad diet, like low fat diet. Well, not low fat diet, but very high dairy diet, anything that's acidic, greasy. He was going through it all during COVID. I'm surprised with the amount of treatment he had with his immune system weak, he didn't get COVID. Hmm. That is interesting. Well, I mean, some people can survive it if they've already had a good immune system before. Yep, he is a soldier, and soldiers tend to be quite prone to getting cancer. Oh, he shut down. He won't talk about his diagnosis with any family members. I don't know how well he is doing. Oh boy. That's that's sad to hear, Sandra. All I can tell you is, try to tell him about like, what I told you. See if that helps. See if it can be something that he's willing to try. I mean, the key thing is trying to convince people to try something that's going to help them, which in their condition is much easier said than done. But it doesn't hurt to let him know. He is a soldier, and soldiers tend to be quite prone to getting cancer. Yes, indeed, because soldiers are active. Soldiers are always working out. They're always making sure that they're hydrating well, doing exercise and stuff. They're not leading a sedentary lifestyle. I mean, exercise by itself can also help. Well, it's more of an indirect thing. It's not so much that exercise can prevent cancer, but it definitely reduces your chances of getting it because, your body's active, it's doing a lot more things. Whereas when your body is inactive, it gives the potential for, for stuff to rise. Because, with working out, you're exposed to oxygen. Oxygen itself is what the body needs to make sure that the cells keep working, and just having the proper lifestyle will also prevent any cancer from rising as well. Of course, family history can also play a big role. That's why they do all these testing, at specific ages, especially for colon cancer. There is a friend of mine that I knew back then. His father had a history of colon cancer, and he presented to the hospital with appendicitis at like 1, 2 in the morning. He was in the worst kind of pain. Thank you for your help and being so kind with my obnoxious Sandra. That's not obnoxious at all. What you're presenting is what you're showing right now is that you care for your family and you're willing to do anything to help them. And I totally sympathize with that. This is the kind of people, Sandra, you're the kind of people that we need more in this world. Like you're the kind of like I wish like more women could be like you, Sandra. Caring, loving, and understanding. And the fact that most of my server has a lot of women in it, I think that's a sign that you know, well, part of me is changing, and also part of me is also helping me learn that there are many kinds of there's another side to women that I haven't been exposed to, which makes me feel appreciated and loved. Thank you for your kind words. Yeah, absolutely, Sandra. You're kind to me, I'm kind to you like 1,000 times in return. That's the Serbian motto. Sandra, you have empathy. It's a golden quality. Yeah, soldiers get a lot of vaccines that the rest of us don't. My boyfriend got one from the Iraq War and it made him and others very sick. Conveniently, all the files accidentally got set on fire. Oh boy. Yeah. There are a lot of things that I know about the military in terms of how soldiers are prepped up and the vaccine and like the stuff that they're taking, not just vaccines, but certain other drugs, illicit substances. It's not pretty. It's quite disgusting, actually. And it's something that kind of makes me sick in regards to why we should be even getting involved in war in the first place when we're not just ruining other people like innocent people, but we're also ruining the soldiers as well. It's it's quite disgusting and makes me feel pity for them. My dad was in the army as well, and the stuff that he went through kind of makes me glad he only went for a year, because if he had gone his whole life, I'd probably be even more distanced from him than ever. But war does change people, usually for the worst. Sometimes I feel like war itself should also only be done for those who have no appreciation for life. If anyone's read Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace, they could probably have an idea of that. Unfortunately, this isn't a book, this is real life. Yep. Empathy is a golden quality. It's something that we all need to have as a species. The ability to care for one another. Of course, the key thing is making sure that we can identify who has real empathy, and who has fake empathy, and that comes with experience. Sometimes we need to be able to teach them to kids from a young age, so that way they can grow up with it and be able to give empathy to others when they need it. Considering in the US, they have to pay for even an ambulance. Do they have to pay for the COVID vaccine? Because obviously we don't pay in the UK because we have the NHS. Hmm. That I'm not too sure about, Tanya, because I'm from Canada, so I don't think they. If I had to guess, I don't. I think that's already provided for them. The problem, though, is that there aren't really. I can't. I just can't see the any benefits with that specific shot. I just can't because I have worked in a hospital and I've seen a lot of younger people. I've seen a lot of younger people end up in the hospital after taking the shot with heart problems. They've had inflammation of their heart, and Canada charges 135 bucks ambulance. Oh god. 135 bucks. That's oh my god. Kind of makes me grateful I haven't been sick yet. I was just wondering because it's actually being forced on the people. Do if they don't want it, they shouldn't be forced to. Yeah, I agree. If they're forced to, they shouldn't be. If they don't want it, they shouldn't be forced to. Unfortunately, we live in a world of dystopia and Orwellianism, especially if we're talking about Canada, the UK, and Australia. I mean, I'm in Ireland, so it's only a matter of time before it happens to me, and I have to be ready. I probably won't be a doctor for that much longer if they start issuing mandates. And if they issue the mandates, then I'm going to have to make sure that, I can first travel to UK so I can see you, Tanya, and Hen, and hopefully Fanta can come along with Richard so that we could just enjoy life for a bit. Because then after that, I'm gonna head straight to Florida and just, hide there for the time being. And if not Florida, then maybe Mexico. So that's something I'm gonna have to figure out along the way. No one should have to pay for an ambulance unless it's a fake call out because an ambulance can be the difference between life or death. I agree. I 100% agree. The problem, though, is that ambulances are going to I think they're going to become much higher in demand with what's going on right now. There'll be a lot more cases when with high demand means that there's going to be higher opportunity for them to raise the costs, which I definitely don't agree with. Why Florida and Mexico, Romer? Well, here's the thing. Florida has no mandates in regards to people getting the shot, and Mexico doesn't have it either. And the thing is, I have a close friend in Florida that I've been wanting to visit for so long. That was actually my initial plan, but then I got guilt tripped into going to Ireland so that I can work there. Luckily, I haven't been mandated to take the vaccine, but I have to be. But the moment they do that, I have to be ready to escape. And with some place like Florida and Mexico, I could just hide out for the time being. Things are going to get hectic, and I have to be ready when that time comes. I actually can't believe that in America you have to pay $40 to hold your own baby after just giving birth to it and carrying it for 9 months. Oh my God. Seriously? Oh, that's disgusting. It's the mother's baby. She has the right to do whatever she wants with the baby, to hold it, to nurture it. You shouldn't be allowed to pay for it. Like, what what sort of benefit is that? This is insane. It's shock. It's not just shocking, it's disgusting. It's a violation of human rights. You shouldn't be paid to hold something that belongs to you. Oh boy. Let's see if I have anything else here. Nope, that's that. So I'll just hold that here. I had to take the vaccine. I acquiesced with contempt in my heart. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sandra. But like I said, it's not the end of the world though. There are ways to manage it. That's why I mentioned the niacin and the melatonin. And the way it works is that that specific combination, especially if it's in a powder form, can help protect your heart from spreading. That it could actually protect your heart from the spreading of the spike protein, because the spike protein is usually what causes people to get sick from the vaccine. So I would recommend getting some flush niacin and melatonin in a package, in a powdered form, which is something you could actually get online. So I would, yeah, find something online. There is one in the UK where you can buy powdered niacin and melatonin. Do that combination, and you should be, and it should help you out should you get sick. Or it could also be used to help destroy any of the spike protein or viral load, which is located within your body. Because let's see, lol, Darren, you don't have to hand over cash then and there, but it gets put on your hospital bill. Yeah, the problem is some hospitals, well, especially from experience, they have means of treating you like crap from the very beginning. I know with Guelph, the hospitals in Australia are horrible when it comes to note taking and for management of pain. And there are other ones I know in Arizona whose kids who are literally being treated horribly to try to force kids to deliver uh, just have a horrible birth and illegitimately diagnose them with meningitis, so that way they have a reason to take the child from you. Thank you. I'll look into that. Yeah, absolutely, Sandra. You got nothing to lose. This powder form, like combination niacin and melatonin, I actually got that from someone who is a PhD in this subject, and his name is Dmitry Pushkin. Um, he used to have a Twitter account, but then he got banned. This is someone that I definitely recommend that you look into. He's going to be the one that's going to help you get into like he's gonna give you like the proper regimen into how much you're supposed to take. Yeah, what does that do, Romer? Yeah, so as I was saying, the niacin and the melatonin, they help they help your body through the niacin itself. What it does is like it helps increase energy production, so that way it has enough energy to like prevent the spike protein from spreading to the rest of your body, because the spike protein is actually what causes all these after effects, and it can involve the heart, the joints, the lungs, the ovaries in women, and also clotting in the legs. So it's sort of, you think of it as like both prevention and treatment. I've known people who have been sick like from day one, from like having COVID, from like and a problem with the vaccine. They took the niacin and melatonin. Within 2 days, they got better. The thing is, like, they just don't want to market this stuff because they think they have a better option, whereas I disagree. I think there are better options out there. Besides, niacin is very good for your nerves, and melatonin, like, it's not only does it help with sleep, but it also, helps serve as like additional therapy to the niacin to help do its job better. Okay, so we got that going. Just gonna lay for a bit. I'm gonna show you a bit of the ceiling because why not? Hope everyone else is okay. Probably gonna end the stream in 5 minutes. I was kind of hoping that Tug would be able to show up because this memory that I just presented of him with the drawing is the reason why me and Gelth are like, best friends. My dad is going to be 71 in a couple of months. He has just got over COVID, but he wasn't even that sick. He had a bit of a fever, lost his sense of taste, but had zero breathing problems. Well, yeah, that's the thing, Tanya. Everyone's different. The virus acts in different ways. Like some people, like, they have fever, they have shortness of breath, zero breathing problems, and they tend to get better. Like the virus itself has like a 99% recovery rate. It's just like the flu. In fact, the flu itself is based off an RNA virus, just like the COVID is. My dad is very fit though. He does gym every day and rides his bike or walls everywhere. See, that's a big bonus because with exercise, your heart and lungs are able to work faster, and you have less of a risk of having any long-term medical problems. Of course, you don't want to do rigorous training either because it can tear your muscles and bones and cause like premature degeneration. Moderation is the key. But yeah, like the way that he does it, like doing gym, riding his bike, that's exactly what you need in order for your body to like perform better, function better, to have a stronger immunity. That's just part of it. And then, of course, making sure you drink a lot of water. To definitely avoid Gatorade unless you feel like, you're suffering symptoms from a hangover where you've lost a lot of fluids. My dad's Irish, he's a Dubliner. Oh, I I'm in Cork right now, so maybe I could visit him. If he's in Dublin, I would love to visit him. So that way I could just like, let him know that you and me are friends, and I'm sure like I'd be able to help him in any way possible. No, he lives in London. Ah, well. Oh, well. No worries. No worries. I'm late. What did I miss? Oh, you missed so much, Fanta. I was just telling you my story in regards to how I became friends with Gil, and how I also got one of these in the mail today, which is a original drawing of Tug and Lug in the case of the Littlest Umbrella. So this thing is worth $500, and this is actually what helped me become friends with Gelf, because I had won this off of a raffle, and I had already received another prize raffle from someone who didn't want theirs, which was the Mask of Tug. And so I decided, I didn't want to be greedy. I wanted to pay it forward, and who better to do it than by giving the $500 mask to Gelf, because he had already been donating so much, giving so much to um to Tug in terms of super chats, and me and him doing a lot of playful bantering, that this pretty much cemented my relationship with him. And we'd been friends ever since. He had been going through a lot of tough times physically. In fact, I should probably mention this, like because of me, like I actually got Gelf to quit smoking. He was already having like very bad peripheral arterial disease, and I convinced him to quit smoking and to do a lot of exercise and walking. Like he was doing 20,000 steps, like for a long period of time, all because of like what I influenced him in to help with treating his leg pain. Right now, he's in a bit of a tough situation with having his stent removed, multiple kidney stones, but and some recurrent rebound pain from the opiates that he was prescribed. That's great. Yeah. No, Gelth is fantastic. I mean, someone like Gelth is very rare to find. Like, someone who uses trolling as a means to shield himself while also like, showing a very sensitive, kind side. It's something, that something that a lot of people have been doing. It's something a lot of people like tend to do whenever they're afraid of trusting people. And I sympathize with that a great deal. I started becoming a bit of a troll myself, like towards my later teen years. And that was because, like, I was tired dealing of, I'm rarer. Yes, you are, Tanya. Yes, you are. You're definitely rarer in terms of your arousal levels. Kind of makes me want to be aroused right now. I mean, you are dealing with a pervert, so. But it's the pervert with a heart of gold, and he doesn't do anything and he doesn't do anything disturbing unless you ask me to. And even then, I don't go too far because it's just not my nature. That's right. Even perverts have standards and limits, and that's all based off the. I think that's inversely proportional to the size of their hearts. But yeah, I'd been helping Gelth out a lot. Like he even saved me from suicide at least 5 times. Like he definitely helped me out a lot when I wanted to end it back in July, because this was around the time that I tried doing my licensing exam and I ended up failing by 3 points. And oh my God, my parents they just kept yelling at me, treating me like crap for like a month nonstop. And that made me like, come so close to like wanting to jump into a lake, into a rocky lake and just end it all. But I couldn't because because then I had some friends back in in my town, and they pretty much convinced me not to. My friend, and then Gelth also gave me some words. Like he told me that, you know, like at first he said, yeah, my trust was permanently stomped. I can be just as pervy, but false accusation cuts that short. Yeah, that's the thing, DJ. I used to be like that too in my late, like early 20s. But then I stopped talking with women when, false accusations started becoming more of a thing. And I had discovered MGTOW because I wanted to make sure that I didn't get screwed over as well. So like the only way I could really be like, pervy with women is if it involves close friends or if it's like, online and involves genuine women like yourself. We're all here for you, Romer. I hope you know that. I do. That's so sad, Romer. How are you now? Well, I'm definitely better than I was a year ago. That's for sure. Because when I took the exam the second time, I had passed it, but I wasn't happy. I was relieved because then I wouldn't have to deal with the bullshit from my parents. I've had to hide the fact that I was suicidal for them for quite some time. And then when I was forced to go into Ireland against their will, they said, you're going to take that job even if you have to be vaccinated. And that's when my trust for them pretty much went to zero. I felt like I got stabbed in the back very, very hard. The pain is still there, but I've learned to cope with it now. And hey, Savage. Okay, so what part of Canada is your hometown? I'll just tell you, the city it's a suburb of Toronto. Let's just say that. Glad you're here, Savage. I think you just got to find someone on your level because I was always a bit of a flirt, but no one would blink twice at me doing it because I'm a woman. I know that's the thing. It's always tough to find someone on your level because when you feel like like you're isolated from the whole world, you feel like nobody can understand you or very few can understand you. But then, there is a saying that that the two things that bring people together are death and disaster. And in this case, what brought me together with you guys was disaster, especially with the whole Vic Mignogna situation and the Johnny Depp fiasco, because that's how I got to know you guys. While something horrible happened, it also united me with you, so that way I could get to know you guys better. And I'm extremely grateful for it. You know, you, Tanya, Ross, Savage, DJ, Gelth, Sandra, all of you like have had a great impact on me. You've all helped me be open with myself so that way I don't have to feel ashamed with what I say something because you know that it's me and I would never cause any intentional harm. And then if I did cause harm, that I would that you would tell me and I would stop. You know suburbs well in Toronto, I feel you. Yeah. I'm just glad that, you know, part of my past helped turn me into the person that I am today. I have a job. I'm still alive. I have you guys. Nothing else matters. I am in the Niagara region, so I know what you mean. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. DJ, I really feel for you, man. The Niagara is region is one of the worst when it comes to medical care. They don't even have an apple tree clinic there. There's no family medicine clinics. They only have hospitals, and they have the highest level of welfare. The amount of care that they have there is very, very bad. And my dad actually, I like to think I can take a joke would take a lot to offend me. Well, there is a provocateur, a professional provocateur who once said that if you can take a male reproductive part, you can take a joke. Yeah, pretty poor taste of a joke, but it does make sense when you think about it. Because then, hey, Cement, oh, so glad you're here. Oh man, I've missed you, pal. Yeah, I'm glad that you're laughing, Tanya. You're like the kind of yeah, we need more women like you, Tanya. You, Tanya, Ross, all of you are great women. You're the ones that I'm proud to call my sister or my pleasurable thoughts. I did not realize it was that bad in the Niagara region. Yeah, it's very bad. Like the opiate crisis is probably the worst in the Niagara region than any part of Ontario. I like it. It reminds me of the joke, don't take it so hard, it's not a dick. Oh my God. I'm glad that we have more people showing up now. I would have finished this stream like 10 minutes ago, but you know, just seeing you guys talk, like telling me your stories. What am I, chopped liver? Jeez. Sorry, Fanta. No, you're not chopped liver, Fanta. You are the sweetest, most kindest Jilf out there. Yes, I wrote a letter to patients' relations about their abusive day hospital group. They're revamping everything as a result. That's good. I'm glad that good for you, man. I'm glad that you're fighting back and going against them. I mean, it's bad enough, like with what's going on in the Ontario with the whole COVID restriction, with how you're not even allowed to take certain products because they're deemed not necessary, which is stupid. Love you, Romer. Yep, love you too, Fanta. We need more. We need more hot gilfs out here. More hot, nice gilfs out here. And of course, hot milfs are welcome too. Yep. I gotta say, like every girl, I know I've said it once and I'll probably say it again, but all these girls in the chat, like you're all amazing, one way or another, and you make me feel worth it. Usually it's ironic usually it's something you don't expect for a MGTOW, but I'm not like most MGTOWs now. I mean, if we were talking about the MGTOW from 5 years ago, that'd be a different story. But I've just seen a Sand. You're making me laugh. Well, yeah, we need some laughter. It can't be serious 100 all the time. Otherwise, what'd be the point? I just seen a spider and I swear it's bigger than my head. I'm scared to move. You got any like you mean like a tarantula or something? Maybe you could give it to Tug. Or yeah, just give it to Lug. I'm sure she would enjoy the tarantula. You scared? No, don't be scared to move. Just like put it in a bag or something, or don't squish it. Actually, I had a lot of spiders that like in my old house growing up. Well, not growing up, but like in my 20s. Dare I ask what a MGTOW is? Well, MGTOW is a lifestyle cement. It stands for men going their own way. These are essentially people or men who are tired of feeling like they're being taken advantage of by the system and society in general. That they're just opting out of normal things. Tanya, broomstick and duct tape. Yes, exactly. Gelth would definitely agree with having the broomstick. Just not to take down spiders, but to take me down. I have to ask my bee friend to bring the Hoover up. I hate spiders. Oh boy. I used to actually play tricks on my sister. Like I would always pop a spider into her room just to hear her scream. I was such an evil prick back then. Yeah, she's not a fan of spiders, snakes, and mice. No, I suck them up with the Hoover. Aw. Then I must have invented MGTOW lifestyle when I was born. Funny enough, Cement, the term MGTOW actually, MGTOW itself, originated in the early 2000s. And it was actually started off by groups of men who identified as socialist. But then that lifestyle started to evolve, and then it started becoming more open, more open to basically any group of men who tend to mainly lean towards the right because they were against any kind of they were against abortion or anything which involved sabotage, manipulation. You do see a couple of MGTOWs as well who are left leaning, but they tend not to be as common. It may be legal to make food from marijuana, but Romer's correct. Many better edibles around here. That is true, DJ. You are absolutely right. Lots of good edibles in Ontario, especially with the poutine, maple syrup. I miss poutine. There's a place I went to in Port Credit called The Works, and I swear they have the best poutine I've ever tried. Just the mixture of the gravy and the cheese, very tasty. Into the fries, would highly recommend it. Weed is a godsend. I agree. Weed is definitely a godsend, especially when you consider the pandemic, the opiate epidemic in Ontario and the border of between Canada and Australia. Sorry, Canada and the U.S. And I will say that a lot of the what's it called? The What was I gonna say? In Ontario, stats showed that there was an overdose in 1 in 9 people, and the average amount of opiate dosage that people take can range between 400 to 500 milliequivalents of morphine. It was just back in 2017 when they said that the lethal limit was 90 milliequivalents of morphine, and back in 2010 it was back around 200. So it kind of made me wonder why did it take 7 years for them to reduce the lethal limit on opiates. on daily opiate usage. Screwed up. But that's where weed comes in. It is a godsend, especially to help with physical pain. The political parts of MGTOW turned me off. I didn't know it changed, but I'm as close to being MGTOW without claiming so. That's the thing, DJ. The political parts of MGTOW are kind of a turnoff, but I mean, there are some of, but I may be biased here, but there are a lot of things about MGTOW which may be politically motivated, but there are others where I try to stay out of the politics of it because I know personally that these people who endorse it have a view which makes me feel repulsed. And MGTOW itself, I agree with it as a lifestyle choice. But when it comes to the political motivation and like, all the drama that happens within it, I tend to stay away from it. Unless it involves people like Stardust and Coltane. Teal Deer himself claims not to be a MGTOW, but he's essentially a MGTOW without actually being a MGTOW, if that makes sense. And in a way, I can respect that because he's open-minded. He doesn't side with anybody. He just says whatever's on his mind. It's kind of like Tug. I don't care about politics at all, but I do what I want when I want. Exactly. That's pretty much how it should be. The problem is most people, they tend to, whenever they do have something in common, they always try to find some kind of they always try to share their views to make sure that they can agree with everything. And then that's when the division usually starts. That's why I try to stay away from communities involving justice for Johnny Depp or like all these movements because while they may agree with one point of view, they tend to disagree with everything else. And then it just turns into a massive brawl over who's right and who isn't. And then I just stay away from all that. I mean, it is in the nature of an introvert to stay away from drama. And then once they do meet someone who they feel they can be open with at all, and then everything is right again. Back. I can live my life in peace again now that Poxy Spider is gone. Oh, you're so mean, Tanya. You should have if it was a radioactive spider, you could have been Spider Woman. And then you can make some webs and then do some interesting things with the boyfriend. More exciting things. I've been smoking it for a good while, and with the pandemic, I'm still smoking it. Also, haven't gotten the symptoms of the stupid weak virus when everyone is feared of. Well, that's the thing because that's good because the cannabis that you're taking, Savage, from the weed is actually acts as an anti-inflammatory, an anti-epileptic, and also an anti-diabetic. So you actually are treating a lot of symptoms that many people can get from COVID, since most of it's based off inflammation. What's funny is I only really like two Depp movies. He's by no means my favorite, but I can't stand Amber Heard. That's the thing. I'm pretty sure, like, if you were to ask a majority of people why they support Johnny Depp, it's not because of Depp himself, but because of the perpetrator behind it all, which is exactly why I'm like, doing this because this is something that I've heard of the MGTOW movement, but I think it was more of a PGYOW. Please go your own way for my own stand up. Hmm. Yeah, many people are saying it's a movement. It's easy to confuse with a movement because like it started becoming popular in like the early 2000s, like 2013, 14. But now I can safely say that like, MGTOW by itself, like for me, like I still consider it, but it's softened a lot because I've met a lot of women who are, as open-minded as me, who, tolerate my perverseness, my views, my over the top humor, and that makes me feel, very appreciated. Yeah, I didn't even know who Amber Heard was until February of this year. Her bed incident interferes with my image of what movie stars are supposed to be. Actually, if I had to say, I'd say like her bed incident pretty much exposes what movie stars are. She just has a very horrible way of hiding it. Because a lot of movie stars like have a lot of skeletons in their closet. They're just very good at hiding it. She is not. And I think like the discovery of the internet has helped expose part of that life as well. We shall become legion. No one knew who she was, even hardcore Def fans. Lol, she's very easily forgettable. I only started recognizing her like from a few earlier roles after I was told that she was Johnny Depp's wife, like from Zombieland and from Machete Kills. But yeah, other than that, she's extremely forgettable. She keeps her skeletons in the wine cellar. Ugh, that's giving me creeps. Kind of makes me question what she does with those skeletons in the cellar. Maybe she like takes a few bones and uses it as a stirring rod to mix some stuff inside, like like the the Zolfram and the vitamin A. Ugh, so many disturbing feelings like that. Whew. All right. She's got a cask of Amontillado down there. Oh God. Oh boy, Cement. Oh boy. We'll probably end it in another 10 minutes if nothing else is going on. Glad I was able to get a larger group of people today. That's what we need. More happier people, more merrier people. What's that say? I have only seen her in one movie, and that was Aquaman. I knew what Johnny had been accused of, but I didn't realize she was the bird on Aquaman. But for me, Aquaman was crap anyway, even with Mimosa. Yeah, I never watched the original Aquaman. Not really a fan of Momoa anyways, because of like especially when he started making that what was it, that that vegan ad. Then I can tell like he definitely became an obvious psychopath. There were even like times when he himself has said things like very controversial things. Well, it would be considered controversial to anyone who doesn't support a specific view, and it just makes him look like a massive hypocrite. I don't know why everyone got so gorgeous about Aquaman. It was rubbish, and I liked Momoa, so that's saying something. Yeah, to me, most I'd say all the comic book movies, like the Marvel movies, like for me, they ended after the original Iron Man because that's when Marvel had sold to Disney. And for me, comic book movies ended for the DC universe around 2012 with The Dark Knight Rises, only because of Christopher Nolan. And the fact that Christopher Nolan is like quitting Warner Brothers, when someone like Christopher Nolan quits Warner Brothers, you know you're screwed. Unfortunately, AH has a very, very, very infinitesimal role in Alpha Dog, one of my faves. Ah, damn. Ouch. Ugh. I wish there was just a way to make sure these kind of people can stop ruining our lives. Unfortunately, the only way that can happen is to pretty much ignore them, speak up, and tell them how much you don't like it. And if they still say, "Oh, we're still gonna do it," then we're just not gonna watch it. And then our wallets win, And the studios lose all the money ever. Yes, Christopher Nolan's Batmans were my favorites. I also like the ones before them, but I refuse to watch Ben Affleck as Batman. You know what? Ben Affleck like actually did a really good Batman. The problem was like the film itself, like the way it was directed, it just wasn't that good. But the fight scenes from Batman were amazing. Probably like the best choreographed ones. Like definitely actually it's I'd say it's more better choreographed than the ones in Batman Begins because that one like was where it was just like extremely shaky cam and very hard to see any of the fight scenes. But Nolan's Batman for me, like I think like the first Batman, like aside from the bad choreography, that was probably like my favorite movie. And then, The Dark Knight with Heath Ledger. Oh man, that was I remember watching that in the theaters. He blew me away. But I might just watch Robert Pattinson and Batman, even though not a fan. I wouldn't do it. Like Robert Pattinson has become massively woke. I would have given it a chance if they were going to do a proper like following of the Batman Beyond series. But then once I saw that they were just going to be replacing them with like an African American, I was like, okay, they're obviously butchering the original characters. They're not going to follow the any of the lore so properly. So no, thank you. No, no one beats Christian Bale for me. Well, Christian Bale was definitely the best Bruce Wayne. He actually did a very good Batman in the first Batman Begins, but then he just got too raspy in The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. It was like he was like just trying too hard, in my opinion. Michael Keaton was my favorite Batman. Yeah, Michael Keaton was probably the best Batman. I mean, aside from Adam West and Kevin Conroy, if we're talking about voices from Batman the Animated Series. I mean, Kevin Conroy, in terms of voices, he's Batman. Like you can't beat that kind of seriousness. I don't really rate Ben Affleck as an actor, and I'm honest. Although he was good in Gone Girl, yeah. Oh my God, Gone Girl is a movie that really solidified my view as to why I became MGTOW because of the kind of things that women can do. Like that movie alone is what modern men should be afraid of with modern women, spoiled ones, especially the ones who have been corrupted by pop culture. I like Tom Cruise because he does all his own stunts. Yeah, I respect Tom Cruise in that he does that stuff, but just in terms of like the way he has his spouts and his certain religious views, that alone like makes me want to stay away from him. But I mean, you got to give like props to his acting and his stunts because that he's able to do like no problems. I'd say my favorite Tom Cruise movie has to be it's got to be Jerry Maguire. Gone Girl was such a good book. Anyone could have been in it and they'd have had a hit. Yeah. Kind of makes me wonder kind of makes me wonder like what they would do with if Amber Heard was in that. What's this? Warner Brothers screwed Frank Zappa in 1976. Couldn't release new material until 1979. We should reprint his Warner Brothers sucks t-shirts. Oh man. And Frank Zappa was ahead of his time. Like he knew what was going on then. I mean, it's no wonder that the show Duckman, like they use Frank Zappa's music. He does all his own stunts, even jumping on Oprah's couch. Oh, oh, cement. Oh, that's cold. Well, not really. Oh, yes. Yeah, Duckman. Duckman, like I actually discovered that like 7 years ago. That show was, the more I watch it, the more depressed I got because it predicted so many things which are happening right now. Like the whole rise of feminism, political correctness with characters like Fluffy and Uranus, and, just like, the crudeness that isn't allowed on TV today. Unfortunately, I'm not a fan of Jason Alexander. Like, I find him to be extremely overrated. Like, like his role as George Costanza, like I sort of see the humor. Yeah, Dweezil was Duckman's voice. Todd. Yeah, it was Ajax. That's right, Todd. Thanks for the compliment. Yeah, Dweezil Zappa was cool. Loved him. I think, yeah, Dweezil Zappa was also in The Running Man, if I recall correctly. Who else was in The Running Man? Roger Bumpass, the voice of Squidward. Yeah. However, like, well, while I'm not a fan of like Duckman himself, I do respect like his views. My favorite character from that show has to be Cornfed, who is voiced by who is it? Greg Berger, who also voiced another cartoon pig, Orson from Orson and Friends, which you would often see when if you would watch Garfield and Friends, which is what I did growing up. I despise Oprah almost as much as Amber Heard. You couldn't pay me to watch that corrupt bitch. Quite so. He was shaking Oprah by her wrist. I'm surprised she went for it. She's got to be richer than he is. Yeah, I wonder how. Well, I probably won't ask because it'll just fall another form of corruption. I won't ask. But yeah, going back to Duckman. Duckman was like, that's a cartoon that like, that was actually the same people who created Rugrats, Rocket Power, Ah Real Monsters. They all what was I gonna say? Like, Duckman was like the one that like, introduced like the whole political incorrectness in terms of the cartoon world. Way before Family Guy, way before Johnny Bravo. This was the cartoon, like to show all the crudeness in the modern world and the corruption. I don't know. Tom Cruise is a very rich man. He owns the rights to all the Mission Impossible films. No. Tom Cruise, like, he's set. Like, he's set for life. Like, he appeared in, like, every great, like, all the great movies. I don't think he's ever done one crappy movie. And I mean, like, probably, like, Cocktail, but even that was, like, decent. I love Ah Real Monsters. I love that show, too. The Imp was definitely my favorite character. Never heard of Duckman. Oh yes, Tanya, you need to watch Duckman. I think there are episodes you can watch on YouTube, but like that's a show that's like gonna make you like extremely depressed when you consider how the world is going right now. But like it's definitely something you can appreciate if you have a cynical sense of humor. For me, it was like I'm no comic book guy, but love the Tick. Never got into the Tick. Probably should. Obviously, wasn't out in England. No, that's the thing. This show actually appeared. The reason why it was so successful was because it didn't air in syndication or prime time. They actually aired this show in like the in like 3 or 4 a.m. Like they did that after like the regular cable hours. So whoever was like broadcasting the show, they knew what they were doing when they were like, sending it when they were airing it like after hours. These guys were smart. Yeah. Too bad like that I hate the voice actor who does Duckman. Yeah, because he does George Costanza. Don't really like him. Didn't even like Seinfeld that much. The only reason why I found it funny was because of Kramer and Newman. Everyone else was just like so-so. And then who else? Yeah, Jason, and then Jason Alexander himself being massively woke. That's a massive turnoff for me. Cornfed was definitely the best character in the show. Ajax was also pretty cool. We have a watershed time here. Anything can be shown violence, swearing, as long as it's after watershed. Doesn't need to be early hours. Exactly. Yeah, it's got to be after watershed. That's the key thing. Like that's how they were able to show so many shows back then, or like how they can like air certain episodes right now. It has to be after hours when there are no snowflakes up awake. It was so funny when Oprah endorsed the guy who did that book Million Little Pieces, then it was a total lie. Oh boy. Well, luckily I never read that book, so I hate effing woke shiz. Yeah, I agree, Fanta. I stopped going to the movie theaters like after I watched Mission Impossible Rogue Nation because that was the one that featured that bitch Rebecca Ferguson. I cannot stand her at all. Like I wanted her to just get like run over. I like Everybody Loves Raymond, except Raymond isn't funny. Everyone else is. Well, the thing is, Ray Romano actually has a bit of a charm, even though he acts like a baby sometimes. He can still has his obnoxiousness. Um, Growing up, I thought Robert, his brother, was like the funniest character. But then growing up, I started appreciating Frank more because of his lines. Holy crap! Yeah, Everybody Loves Raymond. That was actually one of my favorites growing up, like during my teen years. But looking back on it, I started to realize like that show they were actually trying to do a lot of like secret brainwashing in terms of like political agendas. And then I realized that the show didn't become funny at all. Yeah, the dad is the best and Everybody Loves Raymond. Yeah, he's pretty much like Archie Bunker. Who is Rebecca Ferguson? She's the one who played the agent, like the rogue agent in the fourth Mission Impossible movies. Like the one who was like, pretending to be all good. I hated her. I was glad when she got run over in the fifth Mission Impossible movie. Such a bitch. And she's also going to be the one who's going to play the mother in the Dune movie. And she already started spouting some strong female like feminist propaganda. That alone for me is enough for me not to watch it. I mean, I understand that if they turn Neo into some woke alphabet person, I will become unglued. Well, unfortunately, I hate to say this, Fanta, but there's a spoiler in the movie which is already going to pretty much ruin the Matrix as it is, like at the ending. So if you want to hear it, I'll tell you. But for me, that's enough for me not to watch the movie. At least Canadian TV showed banned US shows videos, usually after 9 p.m. Funny on City TV, a movie would be censored only from 8 to 9. Yeah. They don't even bother to like, remove the censor words. They just put a beep right after it, and that just pisses me off so much. I like when Marie says she's a prize, and Frank said, "What God-tested hell did I win?" Yep, that was my favorite. Yeah, that was my favorite line from Frank. Anytime Frank like insults Marie, that for me is like euphoric because then you realize that Marie herself is like the kind of narcissism that exists in many mothers today, and it kind of reminds you why men turn bitter, and that's the kind of women I want to avoid for the rest of my life. I never watched the MI films. Well, the first three Mission Impossible movies were really good. The fourth one was also really good. It was actually the fifth one where it was crap. So I actually misspoke. It wasn't the fourth movie which was bad. It was the fifth one and afterwards. Um, the third one I'd say was the best one because Philip Seymour Hoffman was the villain, and man, was he terrifying. He was awesome. Peter Boyle was my favorite. Frankenstein's monster. Yep, he was in Young Frankenstein, which I actually watched recently with Rose and Gelf, and in full.
I had seen bits and pieces of it when I was younger, but to watch the whole thing in length was definitely an amazing moment. Made me appreciate Ray. Well, sorry, not Ray. Made me appreciate Gene Wilder a lot more than just Willy Wonka. Which Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory for me is probably my favorite kids movie of all time. Frank insults everyone. Yeah, exactly. Frank was essentially the like he was supposed to be like a more up-to-date version of Archie Bunker. Like he was the world's original racist. That's what I like about people like Archie Bunker. Like he had no problem saying it like it was, and then you have pricks like Meathead who are like the biggest hypocrites of all time. I could have eaten a box of alphabets and crafted a better interview. Yeah, that was another underrated line from Frank. But I think my favorite line from him, like which is underrated, is when it involved the ping pong episode when Frank says to Marie, "Uh-oh, ooh, Raven's got himself a cheerleader. Warn me when you're about to do a split." Just like thinking about it in her current form, it is enough to just like, just bust my gut laughing. I don't want to. Okay, fair enough, Fanta. But believe it or not, Sam Kinison took his build up to screaming from Gene Wilder's acting style. Hmm, no kidding. Yeah. No, no, whenever Gene Wilder just like, starts like acting and starts becoming like angry, like that's when you can see like his real eccentric side. But yeah, seeing Sam Kinison take it from that actually does make sense. The problem with like a lot of like people who start yelling, very few times does the anger like equate to the comedy. And like the thing with that's why I don't like it when didn't like it when Jason Alexander does it. Although ironically enough, Adam Sandler is only funny when he's acting like an idiot or drunk or just like in a massive pit of anger because that is his selling point. That's like his only selling point. Other than that, he's pretty overrated. Minus his dramatic acting, especially from the 2006 movie Click. There's a 1970s film called Joe. He makes Archie Bunker and Frank look woke in the movie Joe. Funny enough, the guy who played Archie Bunker, Carroll O'Connor, his he actually had liberal views in real life. I freaking loved Kinnison. Yeah. I actually discovered Kinnison a little bit late in life. He was actually supposed to be the original Al Bundy. And then I saw his role in Al Bundy, and damn, he had balls. He was fucking good. I love Little Nicky and The Wedding Singer. The Wedding Singer was actually a really good movie. Yeah, Little Nicky. Well, yeah, Little Nicky. That was just him selling his usual idiotic gesturing. So that's part of what makes it entertaining. But yeah, anytime he just acts like bland or serious, then like there's no charm. The moment he starts acting like an idiot and just being aggressive, then like that's when remember the episode when Marie does the sculpture. Ah, yes. Oh God. It's funny though because you that show is supposed to be rated like like PG, and that was like and then when she realized she made a sculpture of the female reproductive part, then the first thing she said was, "Oh my God, I'm a lesbian," and that made me bust my gut with laughter because it's something you wouldn't expect in a PG rated show. Does anyone else watch Ray Donovan in here? No, I should though. I missed out on a lot of stuff growing up, sadly. I'm a very sheltered person. They call it slow burn. Gene Wilder got it from Gail Gordon, who was on Lucy Ball's show after I Love Lucy. He was a master of the slow burn. Hmm. The slow burn. Yes, yes. I like it when it's like a gradual buildup and then it just like starts yelling. I think that's why I like the beginning of Young Frankenstein when he started. Oh my God, Ray Donovan is amazing. It started in 2013 and it's still going today. Wait, that's because I think. Wait, isn't Ray Donovan only available in the UK? That's probably why. I like that slow burn. Sounds cool. It's a crime thriller, but also very funny. Guess I should look into it. Holy crap, we've been going for an hour and 46 minutes. Oh, it's an American show. Okay, I'll look into it very well. I'll probably okay, so for sure I'm definitely gonna end it at the 2 hour stream at the 2 hour mark because wow, this is definitely the longest I've ever streamed. Didn't think I could make it this interactive and entertaining, especially with that drawing. Drawing. Oh, I can't zoom in. Ah, nuts. Well, at least my room is clean, so got that going. Yeah, yeah, Leaf Schreiber is in it, and yeah, John Voight. Yeah, John Voight is a pretty cool guy. Yeah, I first watched him in the movie Holes when it came out in 2003. That is probably one of my favorite modern movies at the time, despite the fact that it's I missed 44 minutes, Romer. Can you leave up so I may rewatch? Yeah, no problem, Cement. You know what I'm actually gonna do? I'm actually gonna leave it unlisted because last thing I want is for some people to come in here and try and find ways to cherry pick it and report the video. So I'm going to unlist this after the stream is done and then let you know. Ray's wife is an Irish actress and one of his brothers is a British actor, but they play a family from Boston. They are Irish Americans. That makes sense. I believe Liev Schreiber himself is Irish. Liev Schreiber is always going to be the falsely accused killer in Scream. Ah, yes, I remember that. Yeah, and Scream too. That was quite the moment. Yeah, Scream 2, I think, was my first exposure into horror movies, believe it or not. It's sad how empty trolls' lives are. Exactly. They think that this fills them up with joy when actually it drains whatever life they have and just makes a bigger hole into it. Whatever it's like, it's not like they're filling themselves up with joy. They're actually filling themselves up with acid, carcinogenic stuff, which makes a bigger hole. And thus they feel like they need to ingest more of it to, you know, feel even more complete. And then the hole keeps getting bigger and bigger until there's nothing left. John Voight's character is brilliant. He's so funny. He never knows how go read the room. I'm telling you, when he talks, you'll be cracking up laughing. Interesting. I've seen John Voight in Mission Impossible 24. What's it called? Lara Croft Tomb Raider. Holes. And also, a few years ago, I watched Midnight Cowboy along with Catch 22, the original with my dad. Man, I think Midnight Cowboy is probably the most depressing movie I've ever watched. That movie is probably one of the worst. Like the main theme song is something that, you definitely don't want to listen to when you have nothing left to look forward to. It's just that depressing. He's been in prison 20 years for a crime he didn't commit, and he doesn't know the world today. He's an Irish American Catholic with a thing for black women. I have too much to say about trolls, some not appropriate, even on a private stream. I think we all do, DJH. I think we all do. The problem is we have to keep it like this, unless I were to start streaming on Odyssey and Rumble, then that's a different story. Drugstore Cowboy is a good film. I've heard of it. Haven't watched it yet, though. There's so much I need to watch. That's why I recommend, like, that's why we need to, like, start having, like, the movie nights more often. The Grey is the most depressing movie I can think of without going to World War II films. Ah, yes. Apocalypse Now, like about the Vietnam War, that to me is probably one of the most overrated movies. Marlon Brando was just not, he was so bland in that movie. Everything else seemed okay. Robert Duvall, I'd say like he was pretty good. Um, Ray Donovan has everything in it. Ray himself is a Hollywood fixer. He sorts celebrities' problems out, but can't fix his own life, and he hates his dad, which is John Voight. That kind of sounds like it kind of sounds like a Canadian series as well. Like that came out like back like 10 years ago. I forget what it's called. DJ would probably know this. I'm trying to remember. Like, but it wasn't a thriller or a comp or a drama. This was definitely a yeah. Marlon Brando was a sexy mofo in his day. That is true. Yes. When I saw him in A Streetcar Named Desire, I was quite mesmerized by his looks, especially when he was fantasizing over yelling Stella's name over and over. Gotta go, gotta call the post office. All right, sounds good, Fanta. Keep me posted. No pun intended. Heart of Darkness, Joseph Conrad. True. I think the Gulag Archipelago is another one. War and Peace, not exactly depressing, but definitely filled with a lot of red pill moments. Especially like how they say that like when it comes to being a religious man, like how the greatest virtue. Yeah, that's what I mean. It has everything in it. It has drama, it has thriller, it has comedy. I don't think you could put it into one genre. All right, I will, Romer. Sounds good, Fanta. I'm gonna be ending the stream in a couple of minutes anyway. Once I get to the 2 hour mark. Well, Stella reminds me of the Valley of the Dolls movie, Neely O'Hara. Don't know that one. So you guys will have to inform me of these things because you guys have more experience and I want to experience things with you. Not just perverted things, but interesting things. She screams that, please watch it. You will thank me for it later. Lol, I think it's on Netflix, but I'm watching it on Now TV. Okay, well, unfortunately, I am a firm believer of not watching anything on Netflix after ever since a certain show which endorses P to the E to the D to the Ophilia. She screams that name over and over. Patty Duke's character. Yep. All right. Okay, Tanya. I will watch Ray Donovan. A lot of things I need to watch. Ray Donovan, and I still need to finish Elfin Lied. Man. Now that's a depressing concept. All right, well, better start wrapping it up soon. Romer, have you seen the film Taking Lives? I have seen Taking Lives, yes, with Angelina Jolie and Ethan Hawke. What do you have? It's likely on Amazon Prime too, but Now TV has Sky TV, so I'm watching on Now TV on Sky One channel. I don't have any TV. If I were to watch the series, I'd probably have to like, either download it. Yeah, I'm probably gonna need to download it or watch it online. Um, but I try not to subscribe to anything because I just don't trust it anymore. I try not to get involved in anything that has a woke agenda. So yes, Cement, I have seen the film Taking Lives with Angelina Jolie and Olivier Martinez and Ethan Hawke. That was an interesting movie, but I'm kind of disappointed like when with the plot twist that happens afterwards. That was during a time that I found Angelina Jolie quite attractive. She definitely attracted me in Lara Croft, but then it pretty much went away after like what, 2008. It's worth watching once, but not a favorite of mine. Yeah, exactly. Like the whole thing, like with him, just like with the main male protagonist just becoming the villain, it's just too bland and not worth it. Okay, all right, Tanya, I'll take your word for it. I will watch Ray Donovan just for you. But then you have to do something for me in return. Just kidding. I knew he was the killer the whole time. Ugh. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, what you will thank me for it, trust me. All right then. Yeah, I knew it was the killer the whole time. Like even if you didn't know, like just him being like revealed to be the killer, it's like, ugh. And then it just becomes bland and stuff. And like the way that he got handled was like really stupid. Like when he finally got taken down, I was like, really? Ugh, disgusting. Although I will say, like, the movie Unfaithful, which with also with Olivier Martinez, Richard Gere, and Diane Lane, that's a favorite. And not because I saw Diane Lane's tits. That's part of it. But like the whole concept of unfaithfulness is still quite can definitely have like realistic effects on it. Still considering Antenna TV, only old series and movies now. No TV since it went digital, no DVD since Last Player died. Yeah, you know what? That's how it should be. Like if I had a wish, like I wish that I could be able to watch anything from the 90s that was on cable, like, make my own YTV channel from only the 90s series and early 2000s, because that's when it was worth watching. Yeah, I saw Unfaithful in the theater. I like the ambiguous ending. Exactly, because, it gives you hope, and then it could also be realistic if they get caught. Like, it's a great way for you to think. Of course, I think Inception for me has a way better ambiguous ending, especially with many clues which can help determine whether the whole thing was real or whether the whole thing was a dream. Yeah, Christopher Nolan really knows how to make amazing movies. My kids are in charge of the TV until dinner time. They're only 2 and 3 though, and after that it's mommy and daddy TV time. So I milk it and watch as much as I can. Interesting choice of words with the word milk. Just saying. Oh boy. Here I am being weird again. All right, so that's that. That's the end of the stream. We're over the 2 hour mark. So what's Inception about? That's essentially like, it's a whole movie about what happens within dreams, like how one dream can go to another, how time goes faster, and like how like everything becomes more flexible in dreams. Like just going into like the whole mindset of dreams. It's a really good movie. You should watch it. It's amazing. Anyways, just gonna give you another quick look. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for listening to my story, and I hope to see you guys later. Take care. Love you all.